Hey guys, it's Kate and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm back with another swatching video in my series and I'm going to be mixing 3 more primaries today from the MeiLiang palette. So I have my smaller quill brush and today I'm going to be working from this palette with the colors Fresh Blue, which is pigment PB15, Yellow Ochre P442, PY42. I need to fix my handwriting, and Vermillion PO73. So Vermillion is more of an orange, but I kind of liked working with the sienna before as my red. So I want to kind of experiment a bit with working with some sort of out of the box colors. So first I'm going to dip into the Fresh Blue. I'm going to kind of swatch these right up here. So these will be kind of my base colors. And I'm working on a Canson watercolor pad. So this is just very reasonable watercolor paper, and it's great for things like swatching, and I'm building a swatch library in this book. So this is just my swatch book and I'm not using it for anything else. So first I'm going to get these 3 colors onto my swatches, and in my pan I am going to start with the blue. So I'm going to mix that blue there and get a decent amount of it in my tray, and then I'm going to start going into the vermilion. So I'm going to dip just a little bit at a time and start that color changing. And since it's going to start right below my pure blue, you can see that difference in color. And so each time I'm just going to dip a little bit more of that vermilion so we can see how these colors start to change. And this is a really great way to develop color palettes that you like and just keep on experimenting with the colors that you have. And you can see you get some really beautiful neutrals when you're starting to kind of mix those complementary colors a bit. And so since this vermilion is a bit more orange, you get that increasing orange color. And now we're into more of a beautiful brown with a bit of an orange tint to it. And if we just keep on adding color, it will just keep on getting warmer and warmer until we get closer to our original vermilion instead of the blue. I'm going to spray this just a little more so I can keep it moist, and I'm going to keep on dipping into it. And you can see these wonderful colors that we're building up already just by mixing 2 colors. So I'm pretty orange now. I think I'm going to start veering over toward yellow. So I'm going to dip into my yellow ochre and start mixing that in a bit. And it's kind of nice because it just so happens to be under my yellow swatch. And I love yellow ochre because it's just a really nice earthy yellow color, and it's very warm. And it's one of my favorites to work with. It's not too bright, not too dark, and it almost has a bit of coverage because the pigment is just, I don't know, as far as watercolors go, it's kind of opaque. And I really like that. So I'm going to start veering back again toward blue. And any blue is going to be a pretty strong color. So I'm just going to dip into a little at a time, and even that was kind of a lot, but you get this really pretty green. And then the more we dip, the more green we'll get. And I love this color. It's almost like a hunter green or something. And then we'll start veering back toward blue, but it's just going to stay this really rich, beautiful color. And there's so much you can do with these palettes. And this is a great idea too if you want to get a nicer paint set. Let's say you wanted to get, something really kind of top of the line, but you don't have the money to buy, a giant palette with a bunch of convenience colors. You can really get a small palette of maybe 6 or 7 or 8 of the colors that are going to be the best for blending, and really develop a full palette just from those. And so you can play with really nice paints without having to make a huge investment. And it's a great way to experiment with new brands as well. So I've got my blues. I'm going to veer back toward orange, or red, I should say, but Vermillion is standing in as my red. So I've got quite a bit of blue in my palette, and so when I add that Vermillion, I get this really beautiful gray. And it's gray, and I had gray over here, but you can see it's a bit of a different gray. This is a lot more blue and not as much of the Vermillion. But then as we keep adding it, it's going to start veering toward a nice warm brown. And I'm just dipping in a little bit at a time, going into that same palette and the same puddle, and just adding it slowly. And we get these beautiful swatches. And this is so relaxing to do too. I'm going to moisten that a little bit again. I'm trying not to dip my brush too much into my jar because I don't want to really dilute the color much in my pan, but sometimes I need to clear my brush. So we're getting some really nice browns and grays here. So I think what I'm going to do from here, we have this sort of much darker brown. I'm going to start veering back toward that yellow ochre. And I grabbed quite a bit on my brush there, so I just took a little off there to the side. And I'm going to start this new layer. And I'll still continue with adding that yellow. Now we're starting to get some almost like a camel color, and those are really nice also. And we have so many colors on here now. I like the earthiness of this palette, and you can really get a big variety of colors. I think from here I'm going to go back toward orange from this sort of rich camel brown. Sorry, back toward red, back toward Vermillion. So I'm going to mix some of that in and start warming that up quite a bit. Just like this. Now, before we end our swatches for the day, because I'm doing a lot with almost 2 colors here, because I'm just sort of slowly going from one to the next, I'd really like to get a row with almost an equal amount of each color and see what that does. Now I'm going to start with just a little of this blue again. And it's so hard to get just a little of that blue. It's like I'm barely putting it in. And now we're back to a brown color. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab some of this Vermillion right here and just kind of put it in the pan or the tray. I'm going to grab some of this yellow ochre and put that in there. And then I'm going to grab some of this blue. And I'm going to mix all this together. And now we get a really nice, almost like greenish, chocolatey goodness. If that's a word. And you can get some rich color there. I'm going to get a little bit more blue here. Make it even darker. And some more blue. I'd like to see this dark color and how we can get some really beautiful blue grays that are just very rich and dark. So I'm going really into this blue, and look at these colors we're getting. Very nice dark values. Let me grab some more blue. I love these. I think this is a pretty good mix of color we got here. And we've got some really nice dark values going on here. That's gorgeous. So I'm going to give this a close-up so you can see all the colors on the page. And you can see this Canson paper is really excellent for swatching. And it's so relaxing to do. Just go into your palette and just have some fun with your colors. And this is a really nice, rich, earthy palette with some really gorgeous blue tones. I really love these over here with the darkness. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. Please pick up your palette, whatever you have, and start experimenting with your colors. And it's a great way to start learning about pigments. And, you know, if you have the pigment number, even if you don't have the MeiLiang palette, if you have paints with similar pigments, you can make similar mixes here. So I hope you found this valuable or just relaxed along with me while I did some swatches today. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And until next time, keep creating. Bye.